It is 5:15 on December 20th, 2022. Call the meeting to order. Ashley, you want to do roll call?
Shaben.
Present.
Kroger.
Here.
Billenberg.
Here.
Peterson.
Here.
Lindberg.
Here.
Rudolph.
Here.
We've all been given the agenda. I don't think there's any adds or deletions or anything. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindberg.
Shaben.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
And if there are any conflicts, you can state them now, or when we get to that point. I'm guessing you might have one down the road.
I do. Ashley, I will abstain from item 3F, please.
Okay. Duly noted. Under the consent agenda, we have the minutes of the December 6th council meeting, claims list 1280, the amount of $110,268,017. She sent out this is actually a little smaller one.
Yeah.
Some of those have been larger pieces than the whole this time, which is always good for the end of the year, I guess. So it means we're going to have enough money to get into 2023, probably. So, expenditure and revenue reports for the month of November 2022, police statistical report for the month of November 2022, and a renewal application for Cyclone Lanes for a Class C alcohol license. If there are no questions on that, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Bielenberg.
Shaben.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Under 3A is review final plans and specifications for the street improvements project. Is that the map we have, Gene, in front of us?
Yes, it is. And also on the line, we have Dave Sturm with Snyder and Associates, our engineering team that's helping us with this project. This is the 2023 street project. As you may recall, we were made available and awarded $500,000 of USDA funding, which doesn't come around very often for an infrastructure and street project. And we engaged with Snyder and Associates and signed that agreement 5 months ago, more or less. So Dave and the team from Snyder have been actively putting together the plans and specifications. And the next item on the agenda will, with this resolution, we'll discuss the timing related to bid letting and public hearing, which will be on the 17th of January. Once again, it is a $500,000 of USDA funds, and you had also previously indicated we would spend up some of our general funds to match that, out of our general fund, because we need to at minimum match that. We're anticipating this could be a $1.3 million project, which would be a significant project focusing on some high travel key areas in the community. Dave, can you hear us all right, sir?
Yes, I can, Gene.
Great. What I handed out to the council team was, it was sheet A1, I believe. It is the, indicating the streets that are within scope. Do you want to comment on just the work that's been done and the type of work that's going to be done with the project?
Absolutely, thank you. Good evening, council. As Gene mentioned, this is about a $1.3 million street project, and it's mostly going to be asphalt, mill and asphalt overlay on this these street sections. We are required to install ADA compliant handicap ramps at all intersections that do not currently have them, so that is included as well. And one thing I would like to note is when we mention that this is a $1.3 million street project, that is the estimate we have for our base bid portion of the project. We have this set up with two add alternates, which would be the 3-block section of 9th Street and that 3-block section of 8th Street. Those are our add alternates, because as you guys know, prices right now are so everything's fluctuating up and down, and inflation has caused asphalt prices to go up about 25 to 30% over the last year. So we're pretty confident that our base bid will fall within your budget. but we decided to make those other 2 streets alternates so that we can still award a full contract if the prices come in too high that we could not select them all. So that is how we have this set up for a bid. The project will bid on January 10th. That gives us a week to get the bid results tabulated into the USDA for their approval on this project. So we should be good to go by then, and hopefully we get some good bids. Can I answer any questions from the council or mayor?
And thank you, Dave. And it was sheet A2, and there's 20 plan sheets that we have 2 plan booklets, which include the plans in the back. What it also includes is some areas, as Dave alluded to, requirements to put in ADA crosswalks. Give you another example what's in the plan sheets. Curb and gutter in targeted areas where either the curb and gutter is had significant tilting or water's not flowing. So it includes quite a bit of square footage in yards for curb and gutter. And these are all included in the plan sheets. On A2 again, which was the paper handout, the areas that Dave alluded to, which are the alternate 8th and 9th Street, which would be D12 through D15 in the bottom center. The main areas are Baldwin Street from 5th to 12th, which would be D8 through D10. Durant Street from 12th to 19th, which is D5 through D7, and those all relate to a plan sheet. And then Willow from 12th to 19th, Onyx up to the concrete paved area in 16th. We also have D11. Do you want to comment on D11, Dave? That is the intersection at, many of you may know, 7th and Pine.
Yes, 7th and Pine currently has a lot of drainage concerns. Water comes to that intersection from the north, south, and west. There is currently no storm sewer for I can't remember, Gene, what did we do? It was like 70 blocks or something like that where you guys have no storm sewer, and a lot of it comes down through that area and really erodes the pavement and have some real drainage concerns there. So we're actually going to rebuild that intersection with concrete to get the drainage through there more appropriately. Still no storm sewer addition because there's nothing to connect onto in that area, but at least we can eliminate the ponding. And then also the concrete will be a lot more resilient to the stormwater flows than the current asphalt overlays that are there. I think if you've looked at it, you have seen exactly where the water runs. It kind of eats away at the asphalt and pops it loose. And this rebuild will be the appropriate fix for that intersection.
And that is an area that has just ongoing constant maintenance, high traveled area, there's patch. So putting it into, converting it to concrete in terms of the life cycle of a pavement surface like that is much better than the asphalt and the patching we've routinely done.
Yes.
So wanted to point out D11 as well.
And these are numbered in rank and priority, correct?
No, those are actually just sheet numbers.
Okay.
Yeah, and the alternate, go ahead, Dave.
Sheets D1 through D11 are the base bid. 12 through 15 are the alternate bids. And yeah, the base bid will be part of this project. They were the ones that were given the highest priority combined, City of Harlan.
Thank you.
These have been submitted to USDA, and USDA has concurred in going out to bids on this project at your meeting tonight.
So is it a buy one, get one free? I'm joking.
I don't think any contractor that's gonna do that.
It's worth a shot, yeah.
Hey, it's a holiday season.
Everybody might
Yet
joke.
with that, speak to the timing, and we've had this time with forethought, Dave, in terms of contractor appetite and time of year for this type of project.
Yeah, you guys are bidding this at a very good time of year. You know, early in the year is good for contractors to bid on projects and get their schedules filled up. This is also a pretty significant project that I think you will get probably 4, maybe 5 asphalt companies going after this one. We have the late start date on this project set at June 5th. Basically what that means is the contractor can start anytime before that, once we have contract signed, but they have to start by June 5th. We don't really like to lock them down and say they have to start by May 1st or even earlier, because it's asphalt work, temperatures play a large role in that, and a lot of times contractors have some carryover work from this year that they need to finish up. So we let them start in June 5th, and then they have 140 calendar days to complete this project. Now, the asphalt work does not take near that long, but when you have to do all this curb and gutter and sidewalk and curb ramp work, that can really add to the days. So I think the disruption to traffic won't be nearly that long, but the project will be ongoing throughout the summer and possibly the fall.
Especially with some final seeding, grading with these areas. So it is different than what we typically call our mill and fill with a 2-inch mill and overlay. But again, some definitely key areas that have need the attention, and be able to have USDA funding is appropriate.
And I think we've got a plan, we've done this every year, just not the scale, right, Gene? As far as, what do we average, what we spend per year normally?
We've been in the 280 to 400,000 in terms of just routine maintenance of using, a portion of road use tax and general fund.
Okay.
This is four times that. And again, including curb and gutter, which we normally don't do with mill and fill, requirement with USD or ADA, which getting all the sidewalk or ramps ADA and in these key areas, which we have some, but this just gets us further down the path.
So this would put us a little bit ahead of schedule as far as the plan we have in place already, right? We continue that next year, right?
Essentially stay with it.
Stay with
right.
it, okay.
And in these higher traffic areas and traffic counts, most of these areas we're talking, Dave, correct me, but standard 3-inch.
Yes,
right?
Yes, 3 inches are standard overlay. We like to do them most often in 2 lifts. It really helps out with smoothness as well. Well, they'll do 2 passes on each street with their overlay machine. And one thing to clarify on the size of this project, the reason it approached $1.3 million was there was a $500,000 grant eligibility for the city of Harlan for this project. And in order to take advantage of that entire amount, you guys, as the city of Harlan, are only 35% funding eligible. So we had to come up with 65% match money, and that comes up to around the 1.3 million. So in order to capitalize on all of that 500,000, you had to do a project of this size.
Thanks for the clarification. We've been successful, and Jane has been excellent with seeking that funding for other projects as well, all the way from some equipment to Vets Facade and others with that same funding proportion.
Anybody else have any questions? So then we just need a motion to approve the final plans and specs for this then? That's the first one we're doing here?
Just that you review
Actually,
them.
Just reviewed it?
You don't need to approve the final plans and specs at this meeting. We will do that at your January 17th meeting.
Okay.
And the reason we do that at January meeting is we might have to issue an addendum as part of this during the bid process. Contractors may have questions that we have to clarify. So we will wait till your January meeting to actually approve the plans and specs.
So do we need a motion for A then?
You would not. We'll just say we took it under advisement and reviewed the plans, and then the actual action tonight will be the resolution.
Okay.
Correct. The next item is your action item that authorizes us to go to bid, as well as setting your public hearing date for your next meeting.
Okay, what he said. Next item. Resolution 2518, authorizing the bid letting and setting a public hearing date of January 17th, 2023 at 5:15 PM for the 2023 street improvement project. Any other questions or discussion about that resolution? If not, I'd ask for a motion to approve it.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
All right,
And thanks for joining, Dave. You're welcome to listen in, and hope to see you tomorrow with our other committee meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful holiday season.
Thanks.
Thanks, Dave, you too.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye.
Item C is ordinance 2022-07, amending chapter 129 of the Code of Ordinances for the City of Harlan pertaining to hotel motel tax by amending subsection 129.05 titled Restriction on Use of Revenues, and this is the second reading of this one. Anybody have any input from your office, Gene, or through Jane's office?
Have not received any comments or feedback. Just as a quick review, this change impacts 3 areas. The fiscal agent from Shelby County Auditor to Chamber and Industry. The committee size makeup from 7 members to 5 members. And the third is as far as the use of the funds for the City of Harlan portion, directing half of that towards parks and park improvements, and the other half to continue to support tourism promotion as it has been in the past. Todd, is your office or anyone else have comments or input? I know
I've only received one comment, and that was more of just from a nervous standpoint by somebody who participates, and I told them really, 2023 is not going to change in any way, shape, or form as how we support the program financially, and then we'll just see how 2024 goes. But I also reminded them that as we come into each new season, we're seeing more travel, we're seeing more events, we're seeing more family gatherings taking place. So we may see an actual increase in the overall revenue once we get into 2024. So it might offset some of it a little bit.
Okay, is there a motion to approve ordinance, or the second reading of ordinance 2022-07?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Lindberg.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Billenberg,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
And you feel like we just need to wait for the third reading on that, Gene? Is that something, I guess we've already approved?
from my chair, and I would, there's no sense of urgency or rush.
Okay.
And in the event that there's any other feedback or questions, but solely at the pleasure of the council, I don't see any harm in
Waiting to do.
waiting until the next meeting for final, or the next
You guys
meeting
okay
for
with
final
that?
reading.
All right, item D is review and approve the Exchange Street Stream Bank Stabilization Project, change order number 2, project retainage and final payment. You've given us some additional information on that one.
With public improvement projects, they do have a long life cycle, some longer tails than others. So for a relatively small project, but it was an important project, this has been in front of you for action a few times. And this is the final payment, which is the retainage, which is we were withholding 5%. And then I messaged to you that the other change order was a ticket from the contractor for the project for riprap that hadn't been with the change order number 1. So this was, item D is the final payment, and then item D is that we accept with a certificate of completion of the project, which we should complete both those steps for final closure. I'm happy to answer any questions. It's been in front of you plenty of times, but
Because the project's done, right?
it is.
Okay. Any additional discussion, questions? Nope. Is there a motion to approve?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Bielenberg.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Billenberg,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Item E then is resolution number 2519, accepting the Exchange Street project work. Just the final approval of it's done, it's been looked at, approved by all people that need to approve it.
No longer see it on our agendas.
And
What's
we've got
that?
a 1-year
No longer see it on the
maintenance.
agenda.
This is it, right?
And this all, yeah, so with this acceptance date, then it kicks in the 1-year maintenance
Okay.
on the project as well.
All right, is there a motion for
Certified.
resolution number 2519?
Motion.
Motion by Lindberg, second by Bielenberg.
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Billenberg,
Aye.
Peterson,
Aye.
Lindberg,
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
You were so quick, I had to give you a hiccup there
Doing
for a
great,
second.
yeah.
'Cause there's a lot of bergs out there.
Yeah.
It takes a while to kind of get under
Yeah.
that, get that taken care of.
Rolls them.
I have a hard time. I gotta write them down to make sure. Item F, review 2023 solid waste and recyclables haulers licenses. You had a chance to look at those? Those were in our packets. This is a yearly thing we do every year.
This is done yearly, required by our ordinance for any private haulers that are hauling for citizens. These are the 4 that have done work with us in the past. And our health inspector, which used to be Terry Derringer, but is now Luke Volken, completed the inspections on the equipment, and we do have those on file, and this now allows us to issue these licenses to be a certified hauler for solid waste.
Okay, is there a motion to approve item F?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion by Bielenberg, second by Peterson.
Shaven.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Kroger is abstaining. Item G, review street closing permits for Aurora and the Harlan events, May through September of 2023. That's just a standard
North and west sides.
application. Those were very well-attended events this summer. They added, I don't know if they added, but I know they had cars and there were lots of people down there.
Yeah.
Every Thursday, whatever Thursday that was, the third Thursday?
Third Thursday. Yeah, they had large turnouts this
Yeah.
year.
The weather cooperated most of the
Car
time,
show.
so we had live music on most of the time on the side of the courthouse. Is there a
It's
motion?
nice- It's nice that they're alternating sides, too.
Yeah,
A couple on the east and some on the west.
yeah, and I don't hear any complaints from any of the business owners down there. Yeah.
The
Well
events,
received.
the event has continued to have interest and
Grow.
it's great for our community from a public service standpoint, and it's from all our public services have not created issues for us. So nice that they get this in well in advance, and we help out with providing some cones, and this is the public awareness that some streets are going to be temporarily impacted. They cone them off so that you can always turn right, so it's not as though they get up to an intersection and have to back up a block. It's been a nice event.
And Seth has done this, I don't know how many years he's done it, but he's been in charge of it the last,
3 or 4 maybe?
Yeah.
Just
Three
right around.
years now, yeah.
I mean, do you work with him at all for this town? Is this part?
Yeah, actually, so the way the chamber is involved with Roaring to Harlan is we're both, we're basically their fiscal agent, and also through we provide the insurance for the square, just the basic general commercial liability insurance in case somebody would turn an ankle or something while they're walking along the path. So, yeah, so we work really close with him, and also then hotel motel is some of the funding used for the promotions too, so. Yeah.
Okay, motion to approve that permit.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Peterson, second by Shaven.
Shaven. Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
Next, we need to receive and file the Airport Commission meeting minutes from December 13th of 2022.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Rudolph.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
I think then out of that meeting, we need to review the Federal Airport Improvement Program, AIP.
Someone
This
read-
is, as a federally funded airport, and receiving federal funds, this is a report that we submit each year. The Airport Commission reviewed this at their last meeting. Needs to be filed, actually this one is filed by tomorrow. And it's essentially a statement of intentions of what we'd like, the commission would like to see. Once again, a reminder, this is not a commitment. It doesn't mean we're doing the project. It doesn't mean that this is what but it is telling the FAA, here are the types of plans we have for our general aviation airport. And there was a number of handouts with, or included in the packet. Again, the minutes, but essentially, there's data sheets on the two planned projects in the near term. What the FAA is looking at is this sheet here, which again, for some of you who've seen this before, sat on the commission. Sharon is our current liaison. It would be 2024 and 2025. And these have been, well, 2025 is continued taxi lane improvements. Again, we're just finishing up a good section of taxi lane improvements. And the 2025 would be to continue that and get all the hangar areas improved with new surfacing. But the more near term is apron expansion that then would also accommodate a future new fuel facility and the location of that, which is stated on here as well. But this has been reviewed and supported by the commission. Would just ask for your final review of this. Happy to answer any more specific questions. And got a very three-person airport commission. Scott McLaughlin, Rick Dosler, and Larry Chapman have been very involved and passionate folks. Scott Pigsley continues to do an excellent, active job out there.
Agreed.
And with our, in terms of local funding, which may be a curious question, which on the FAA funding, it's 90-10, 90% federal funding, 10%, and we get an apportionment every year, and up to 150,000. It's been, I'll say, doubled down, if you will, with the new bill money, the bipartisan infrastructure, and we're getting approximately another. This last year's 149, but we got to match that with 10%, and between our capital reserve accounts, which again we've been supporting the airport with putting money away for that, as well as some CURSA and CARES funding that we're able to use for our local match as well. So we're presently in a position to support our local matches here.
Hearing no other discussion, is there a motion to do that?
I'll motion.
Second. Motion by Lindberg, second by Bielenberg.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg. Rudolph.
Aye.
Item I is receive and file the Park and Rec Commission meeting minutes from December 13th, 2022. Motion to approve those or receive those.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Kroger, second by Peterson.
Shaven.
Aye.
Kroger.
Aye.
Billenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
And out of that meeting, looks like we have a recommendation to approve the Water Trail Memorandum of Agreement for the West Nishnabotna River Water Trail in Shelby County for a period of 5 years.
Be happy to provide a little bit of background. Raise your hand if you've been involved in some of the water trail planning or meetings over the past, I don't know, 24 to 28 months. I know there's at least one here, maybe some other. So with the main impetus or focus here is achieving water trail designation from the DNR for the West Nish Water Trail. And through all the planning efforts, there's been paddler groups to agriculture groups. I know public safety, they had some focus groups with law enforcement through this process. This would be another key step in terms of the memorandum of understanding in terms of maintenance of some of the areas along that trail and signage. And that's specific to this memorandum. As you have seen in your packet, the Shelby County Conservation Board, who is the trail sponsor for our West Nish Trail, and also the engineer's office, both of those entities have already agreed and acted on this. And as another partner, which will have one access in Harlan, which is undeveloped yet, but that is part of our future plan. And once developed, then it specifies, what the signage is. The signage is provided from the state, and that's what the rest of this agreement highlights. And for those curious, the trail is to be designated from Reining access, that's out beyond the ball fields, a mile and a half, 2 miles out, all the way down to, so the 3 accesses would be Reining access, the Highway 44 access, which is what we have our preliminary engineering on, and then Nishna Bend, improved or new area and access, which is targeted to be done this next spring or summer. And I think it was the bottom of this that then, yeah, it goes through those general responsibilities. But in order for the mayor to sign this, would need your approval this evening.
I was glad to see the DNR was on board or a partner in this. So.
They've been integral in the planning. In fact, there was a consultant that they contracted with, Lee Wagner, that facilitated many of the meetings and also put together a report to submit to the DNR to support this memorandum is one piece of it. So a lot of planning efforts towards these public projects, which is why they do have long life cycles.
Do they move faster than the DOT?
Not really.
Depends on what the posted speed limit is.
We'll ruin the last meeting of the year with DOT.
We'll hold your seat until they're completed.
Okay.
I will motion on this one.
Second.
Motion by Rudolph, second by Lindberg.
Wrong
Shaven,
Aye.
Kroger,
Aye.
Bielenberg.
Aye.
Peterson.
Aye.
Lindberg.
Aye.
Rudolph.
Aye.
The last city administrator's report of the year.
Seems as though I've already chatted and updated quite a bit this evening with some of the action items. Do have a few other updates I want to pass along. First and foremost is there's Mother Nature happening outside. And just today, we received our last National Weather Service update. Long story short, from tomorrow evening through Friday at 6, the last update is just not going to be very nice to be outside. So we did issue notice, at least within the city of Harlan, in terms of our streets for voluntary off-street parking. We've seen a lot of participation and success with that, so thank you to the community. It helps with our snow operations with clearing and any ice control. So we suggest that's being posted as voluntary off-street parking from 1 o'clock tomorrow through 5 o'clock Friday. And that is going out. Thursday, all the indications are, and we ask everyone in the public to stay posted to your news accounts or media, that unless you have to be out Thursday, just is not going to be recommended. We'll certainly be providing city services on Thursday and running our snow operations in a safe manner, but with the high winds and visibility, we won't be near as challenging in town as it will be out in the rural areas and interstates, yet visibility even within some of the areas of town can be challenging. So again, stay posted to news and media reports, and unless you absolutely have to go out, it sounds like should try not to go out. I do know that school canceled early in the week that will help not having that activity out in the roadways and keeping folks indoors. One last item on that, and anytime we can get this communicated with any snow events, and that is communicated with this one that we posted, is just a reminder when any of the windrowing, and again, windrowing is when snow is pushed to the center of the street, generally in the downtown areas, it would help greatly that you parallel park. It's just that first individual that angle parks, and then everyone else angle parks. And it makes it really challenging with our snow equipment, and even for others to, again, with the extended pickup beds and to navigate that windrow and getting enough passageway. So just a reminder, when the snow's windrowed, to please parallel park in those areas. The HHPC committee, which is the upper story downtown facade, met, and the application period will be from January 3rd through the end of January. That is now posted out, I believe, on social media, and I believe on our website. And that application period and the timeline for that is posted, once again, January 3rd through the 31st, with applicant interviews that we're going to do this year in the month of February, with awards happening the first part of March. In our budget, we've recommended to you we continue that $50,000 of allocation. Don't believe at this time we're going to have to cut any of that back, but it would be contingent upon budget approval for the city match towards the downtown upper story facade, and continue to have great participation. Recently completed the Catalyst grant for Jerry's building, which Jerry also received some local committee funding, which showed our local support, and we may have another Catalyst applicant for the state in this upcoming cycle. So Todd's working with that potential applicant during the month of January. And last two items, you approved the master plan for the Pioneer Park Playground at the last meeting, and the fundraising group has continued charging forward. And if you've not seen, thank you to the newspaper, and I believe that may be Elizabeth online. But the last newspaper article had the front page and also mentioned this website and the QR code. So if you go to pioneerparkproject.com, and there's an active site, has all of the storyboards, has background of the project, our plan and goals, how to make gifts, sponsorship forms, FAQ list, and a huge shout out to Jade Osborne and the fundraising team, and Jade's done a heavy lift on this, getting this site up and active. So to the community, great information here. So for your business and or individuals that want to help start funding that, the site is active, and this should address most of your questions towards a future new all-inclusive playground. If you've not had a chance to visit that, it's again pioneerparkproject.com. And it was mentioned earlier.
In one Iowa county are hoping for a population boom.
And they're using a new strategy to draw in more people.
KETV News Watch 7's Cal Larson has this new story from Shelby County.
Shelby County, Iowa had a population of 11,746 in the 2020 census. Todd Valine hopes to raise that number for the next census.
Well, there are people who have never experienced this lifestyle. They've heard about it, they've seen it in movies, but they don't really know that it actually exists.
Valine is the executive director of the county's Chamber of Commerce and Industry. He and his team are working on a campaign to attract more residents.
We're seeing more growth coming, and we just want to invite everybody to be a part of it.
Ellen Walsh-Rossman is an example of that growth. She's been in Harlan for the last 12 and a half years.
It's a great place to live, and I'm really proud to live here. I really am.
She owns the Milk and Honey restaurant. She says small towns offer something metropolitan cities don't.
The difference about living in a small community is if you frequent the coffee shop or that restaurant, they're going to know you by name. That's something that you don't get in a big city.
According to the U.S. Census Bureau, New York, California, and Illinois lost on average over 231,000 residents from July 2020 to July 2021. Harlan Mayor Jay Christensen hopes some of those people see the county's campaign.
We can compete with anybody, whether it be Des Moines or Iowa City or Omaha, that come here and you can still work from here and do the things you want to do.
Christensen believes people leaving major cities are looking for something more genuine, like his town.
I think they want more interaction and genuine interaction, and I think that's what you get from more of a smaller community like this.
Within that, and if I may just comment from my lens, that clip demonstrated two things that we have supported over time in the vista and the views of the downtown buildings, which has been, through some public funding and continued support of a historic downtown. It makes it attractive, and that speaks and resonates very well. And then the second is that it was the mayor's comment that we have a lot to offer, and you can work and live here, and that is supported by a number of options we have with connectivity and fiber, which again we take for granted. Other areas are they're getting a lot of funding to, we'll say, get up to speed, no pun intended. Yet, I know a handful of folks, I'm sure each of you do, that either have located here or relocated here, and they work from home. Maybe one or two here that do that. That they live and raise their families here, but they work for companies and corporations that are not here. And we're blessed with good connectivity that allows that to happen. And I know that's part of our pitch and Todd and team to say, why not Shelby County and come here? So, and with that, happy holidays to each of you in our community. Everyone be safe, and look forward to the next meeting when everyone gets to rotate a seat. So, and that's all I have, Mayor, unless you've got comments or questions for me.
Nope. Any questions for Gene? Concerns with his videos? I don't really have anything in my report other than just echo what he said. Happy holidays, and it's been an eventful 2022. Coming out of what we came out of in 2021, and seems to be a lot happier people, in stores and businesses and just family gatherings. We do seem to be, I don't know, really healing, because there's people who are still sick, but we are able to hang out with people that you want to hang out with. So, and for some reason we get to hang out twice a month at least here, so it's been enjoyable the last year. So sitting in this chair, although I was sitting over there last year, I think. So that's all I got. Todd Deline with Shelby County Chamber of Commerce and Industry.
Just to kind of expand a little bit on what Gene just showed you. So this was an effort that actually started back in November. We shot a couple of videos during the Harvest Fest. And we featured a couple of individuals in town, Katie Sandquist and Ellen Walsh-Grossman, who have lived in larger metropolitan areas and chose to come back to raise their families in more of a rural area. We released those videos back on November 16th on YouTube and November 17th on our Facebook pages. The YouTube version's been viewed 45,700 times by folks out there, and the one on our page has been viewed 55,000 times. So started to make a really good impact, and then we had a little bit of fun on December 9th, and we sent out a kind of a tongue-in-cheek press release that it was titled Shelby County Chamber to Omaha Residents, Move Here, It's Better. And we sent that to outlets in Omaha, outlets in Des Moines, and outlets in the Cedar Rapids, Iowa City area. And since then, we've received a lot of attention. We had the KETV
Now, Mike, we'll pull that up, Todd.
We had the non-Perel
article.
We were interviewed on WHO AM radio in their 5:30 time slot, so in the drive time slot. So that was a big deal. Got interviewed by Cedar Rapids and Waterloo Station, KXEL. And one of the things that for me was the most exciting is we actually have Iowa SourceLink commenting on our Facebook page, and the Iowa SourceLink is the developed source for entrepreneurs who want to start businesses. So I'm really excited to see that they're paying attention to what we're putting out there. But it should be pinned at the very top, the original video.
When you walk around the square of Harlan, it feels like a Hallmark movie.
When I drive to work in the morning, I drive along these streets with this kind of canopy of trees that are just turning brilliant colors. And there's this sense of kind of peace. My name is Katie Sandquist, and I'm a mental health therapist with the Behavioral Health Department at Mertu Medical Center. The healthcare that we have available here in Shelby County is just at an incredible level of excellence. It's consistently ranked in the top critical access hospitals across the nation. So we did the whole city thing for about a decade. When we lived in the city, you spend so much time just going to the grocery store. You spend so much time getting to your job, so much time getting to your school. And so being here, everything just feels so connected.
I do feel like Harlan's in the middle of this tipping point of like explosive growth, and like people are responding to something that's an original idea. My name is Ellen Welsh-Roseman, and I'm the owner of Milk and Honey in Harlan, Iowa. We've been open for 7 years now, and we're currently outgrowing our space, and we're going to be relocating soon into a new space that will also support other food entrepreneurs and more local farmers, especially like around the square. We call it the Harlan Shuffle. So, you know, maybe you outgrow your space and you move into a bigger one, and another budding entrepreneur moves into that space. We see a lot of that happening. Our approach is having approachable but elevated dishes. Our chef came from a white linen restaurant in Omaha, so he has good sight and progressive on, you know, what food should taste like, and we make all of our food from scratch. We see a lot of people coming from Omaha, just coming for Sunday brunch, or coming from Des Moines, because they're not able to find something that has this story anywhere else.
Everything that I really need is here, and I know the people that run it. And so that sense of everybody's rooting for each other, I think, is a huge part of being part of Shelby County's community. And you can still build a quality of life for your people, for your family, that is at the pace that allows you to enjoy each other. Where you get to have, you know, feel like you're walking into a scene on a Hallmark movie some days. And so you're there at the small town festival.
I'm not originally from Shelby County, and I really love this community, and I really care about it.
This is a community that wants to see everyone succeed.
So yeah, it's been working out really well.
Good deal.
And I was asked by a couple of the folks who were doing the interviews, how will we measure if this has been successful? Well, of course, the easy ways are this spring. We'll see if our new residence numbers from HMU pick up as we hand out our welcome bags. Also, with, you know, the phone calls coming into our office about business opportunities. And then what I've kind of introduced to them is I said, right now we're just knocking on your door and offering you to come visit us for a cup of coffee. And later on, we're going to hit you with our healthcare system, our school system, our manufacturing that we have, to really outline what's available here in Shelby County and Harlan. So we'll take donations to help cover the cost of it. All right, but that's it. Just wanted to give you a quick update on that.
Thank you, Todd.
Thanks, Todd. Is Joe on? Or I know he's under the weather, so no. Any public comments? Any comments from the circle? Semicircle?
Happy holidays. It's been a fun year.
Okay. Thanks for filling in, Ashley.
You're welcome.
Good to see you, Ashley. Everybody stay indoors maybe the next 24, 48 hours. Meeting adjourned.
Stay off the roads.